How we doing, folks? Here, Bull Marks 1205 numbers. After the name, a little tight Tuesday, a little gameplay comes down to limit the ball to the wire. Putting in some serious work here on this one over here. We're gonna start seeing some pretty nasty footage, man. I'm gonna be diversified a little bit to other channels now. It's not just gonna be strictly Call of Duties. I'm playing so many other games and stuff. I want to get some Tetris up there. I'm putting a lot of work in both Tetris 99 and Tetris Effect. You know, I'm trying to go pro. Mario 35 will still keep popping up over here and there. And I think that's it. I don't know if I played anything else competitive. I don't think I can put Gears Tactics up there as a competitive game. Maybe good. I don't know. It definitely plays nice. Either way, though, I wanted to spend some time here on this Crossroads map and also on the MP5. Let's start with the MP5 first and kind of my overall impressions. I think it's the de facto submachine gun for obvious reasons. One, because it's good, and two, because it's literally the first gun you get. I'm pretty good with it at this point. I still run it suppressed just because it controls a little bit of the recoil, I feel like. But even if you run it loud, like it's alright. Like, it ain't really that big a deal one way or the other. It's difficult for me because a lot of people will call this gun OP, and I just haven't played the other submachine guns enough. I'm just about done with the camos for this gun. I need some point-blank kills, which I kind of laughed at because I was like, man, I didn't kill people up close. I'm always in people's faces. And then I was like, oh, that's right, I switched to my shotgun for those situations. So yeah, I haven't used my submachine gun that much for that. But the biggest strength, or the biggest thing that I like, is kind of the range on it. And once again, I haven't played the other submachine guns enough to have a comment on it. Like, I know the Milano kind of like hip fire, the AK-47U's range is solid. I really haven't tried the Bullfrog, and I think there's even another one that I just literally haven't touched, so I have no opinion on it. The Bullfrog, I think, looks like a PPSH or something like that, so I guess it'll kind of handle, or PP91, I don't know. It looks like one of those, like, Modern Warfare guns. So I assume it'll kind of handle like that. I guess it's not the PPSH, right? That's that, like, Russian thing. Either way, I'll let y'all know how I feel about those guns when I get to them. But for this gun, I really like the versatility of it. I only use it on a handful of maps. I use it on Miami. I use it on Crossroads here. I use it on Cartel. It might be on Moscow. I use it on Moscow because I play really tight there. Pretty much any map that I kind of make sure I'm rushing 100% of the time, I'm using this weapon. And then on longer maps where I use the lines of sight a little more to my favor, where I'll go and I'll use my M16, or I'm actually working on the AUG at this point, as I kind of work my way down the best guns in the game, and eventually I'll hit something that's like complete trash, and I'm like, oh, that's fine. You see this gun that often. But having the versatility of the up close, just damage that it causes, and also the range element. I was always surprised with MP5 how good it is at range. There is recoil to it. It is kind of a pain in the ass sometimes to control, but it's definitely not anything that you can't do. And it's weird, man. I have some ups and downs with the gun because sometimes it feels like really snappy and really just like boom, like I'm gunning someone down and I can literally just hold the fire button and perfect, like no recoil, no nothing. Other times, and it's not even just like a game or two. Sometimes it's like a whole day where I'm like, damn, like I'm off on this, man. And I think it's just a matter of controlling like the vertical recoil and stuff like that, and helping it out. And I probably don't do too much help with it in the fact that I use like a bunch of attachments that have negative stuff to it, right? Like my sprint time is like about as slow as you could put on this gun because I think just all of the weapons that I have on it just reduce it. Now, I don't care about that because if I need to, I just hip fire. So, like, it's not really anything out of the world. The hip fire is solid on this gun. I wouldn't say it's, like, great, but it's solid. It definitely gets the job done, especially if you're, like, up close and personal with somebody. I'm sure you could put, a laser sight, and it'll, like, make it even, like, closer, that you could really put some serious damage in. But I just kind of flipped the shotgun, so I don't really care about having a weapon that's hip fireable. I put everything in terms of flinch resistance and range. I want this thing to go as far as it can to kill anybody, and I want this thing that when people hit me, because I'm going to get hit because I'm up in people's faces a lot, or I'm competing against guns at longer range that shouldn't, that I could also hit back. Like, that is just not a one-side kind of street thing where he punches or he shoots me and my guy just looks at the sky for 6 days and I'm like, what happened? So I think it's too easy. I think if this gun were like a little bit further down in the pecking order, like where you had to level up, I don't think that many people are using it. I think the fact that it's kind of your default SMG and it's good, a lot of people just get used to it, like it, and don't change it. And I don't necessarily think there's anything wrong with it. I think they did already like nerf it like at the beginning of the game, because the beginning it was like, wow, there was a point where like you could shoot like this MP5 from like any range, and that was kind of crazy. I think the MP5 is kind of in a little bit of a sweet spot now. And once again, I have to go through and kind of look at the other submachine guns to fully like gather that. I mean, maybe like the rest of them are just such trash that I'll review the video again. I'll come back and be like, yo, you remember when I told you that wasn't that like OP? Oh yeah, it's OP as hell. Like, isn't that like yo, this Milano, like, you can't even use this thing. I don't think I'm gonna like the Milano, honestly. I just, from the little bit I used it and just the impressions I've heard about it, it ain't a Margot's weapon, I can tell you that. But we'll adapt. You know, we're trying to do the camos thing. I don't know if I'll make it. Who knows? I'm at least trying. We'll see how it happens. So overall, you know, it's a damn good gun. It's definitely useful. I feel like if they were just to tear it down a little bit, less people would be using it. I think overall the meta would be happier about that. But, you know, they chose to put it at the beginning, and they kind of do that with most Call of Duty games, you know, and it's a very balanced weapon. It's not like, hey, man, this is like the best at this and the best at that. I'm sure it has best, and I'm sure you could turn them into best with all the attachments. But overall, it's balanced, and that's kind of why I like it. It allows me to kind of just be a jack of all trades and kind of play around with whatever I want. Now, the second part of the video is this actual map, Crossroads. I will say this about this map, man. It's probably my favorite one out of all the maps. Yeah, we'll see what raid looks like when it comes. But especially out of the new maps, to me, it's my favorite one. It's kind of interesting because I know there's a bigger version. There's just a smaller version of the one in the other mode. So I would imagine that would kind of make it trash, right? You're kind of condensing a map that wasn't really meant for this to do something that it's not meant to. My initial impressions out of that would be like, alright, well, this thing isn't like that good, whatever. But I'm the contrary, like 100%. Like, I'm like, wow, this map is fun. It's definitely the smallest map, or at least it feels like the smallest map in the game. You are up close and personal in people's business. It's fun to play hardpoint, it's fun to play Dom, it's fun to play TDM, it's fun to play Kill Confirmed, even though I haven't really run into it in Kill Confirmed too much. I don't really run into too much Kill Confirmed, man. That's why I can see like a lot of Dom gameplay over here and a lot of TDM. That's kind of the two modes I play. I gotta put like all four of them on. But Kill Confirmed, I don't know, I guess it just ain't popping like that, huh? I also have crossplay off over here, so I don't know. Maybe if I put crossplay on Kill Confirmed, everybody's playing Kill Confirmed. But I'm tempted. I should go back and put crossplay on, man. Just see how I feel about it at this point. See if I'm still getting like murder, and then I'll be like, hold up, this ain't right. Maybe it won't. Maybe I'll be the murderer. I don't know. Maybe it'll be some easier people. Who knows? It's definitely an interesting time to play it. Either way, the cool thing about it is that in essence it's like a 3-lane map with just a bunch of smaller lanes and really a middle that's like wide, kind of open. And I think it fits like everybody's playstyle, which is to me what makes like a good map a really good map. It obviously plays a little bit more for a rushing class, right? Because all small maps kind of are indicative of like, hey man, like there aren't that many long lines of sight here, so you could put in some serious work if you just get in people's faces, kind of thing. And that's how I play it. But that doesn't mean you can't like post out an M16 either over here to the right where I'm at right now and kind of see most of B and put in some work from there, or come down to like the box side over there in the ice and look towards B, which I've done that with my MP5, which is really far range for it. But like you just kind of just like, you know, burst in there and end up killing some people. These people took down my chopper gun. If anyone has an explanation for that, sometimes caches take down a chopper gun in 2 seconds. I assume it's a glitch. Because it also makes me think that there's like 5 people all with like Stellas just armed and ready, RPGs just gunning me down. And I'm like, I worked hard for that, man. That's why I saw it Tight Tuesday, you know what I'm saying? They didn't let me wasteland that. Maybe they did, we'll see. But anyway, it has the ability to play at longer ranges, right? You can play straight with a shotgun, period, right? You just run from corner to corner and kind of just hose people and stay kind of in this little area where I'm at right now and shotgun people, which is where you're going to see me putting like a lot of work. But obviously somebody could come from like further door down there and just melt you, and that's that. Or you could stay kind of all to the sides, and even like when you push over here, see if I dip down over there. Now I kind of go through this little bridge area at this time, which is an extremely popular and congested area, by the way. I usually just kind of throw a nade and get out. I don't really like fight that too much. I lose those fights. I ain't about that. And I'm usually just playing the objectives too, so I'm not really like all up down there. But anyway, if you look over here to the left, would be kind of what I'm talking about, where you could also just get some like extremely like long range, kind of like, whoa, like I'm like really far out here, like putting in some serious work, kind of controlling this whole flank that doesn't have too many ways of getting around unless you come from like this way where I'm coming right now. So it has a little bit of everything. It obviously favors more the Russian class because you're gonna have to push up, you know, to cap B, especially unless you have a team that's good enough to cap it on their own, which sometimes I do, and a lot of times I don't. And the B is in a pretty like finicky position too, man. And Dom, man. I mean, when you look at it, And it's interesting that they kind of like extended it to be like around those like walls and stuff. One thing I will say, a little pro tip here, for those like walls over here that you see to the left of the tank, you can shoot through those. I've killed people with my MP5 through them. It does take a little bit of bullets, but you can definitely do it. It's definitely helpful, because what you'll see is a lot of people will kind of fight you in the middle of like the little road there, and then they'll immediately like dip to the left behind one of those things, and they think they're safe, and then you just end their life, and you're like, nah, bro, there's no safety for me. 166, 166. I can see why this is a tight Tuesday game. So yeah, you can actually shoot through that kind of wall. I still haven't fully grasped like what you can and can't shoot through. You can definitely shoot through wood. You can definitely shoot through those little thin walls. There's doors though where I feel like I should be able to maybe get a couple shots through, and you just don't. And I'm like, all right. I mean, I get I can't shoot through the tank. I mean, that's all right. Like I know shooting through a tank is a lot to ask, but damn, can a brother shoot through the tank? I haven't seen any, and I might be wrong. I mean, there's definitely some. I mean, there's just different types. I haven't touched like an LMG, for example, so maybe like they're on that. But I haven't seen anything that like increases your bullet penetration necessarily as an attachment. I have seen like the ones that like I think are cowards, and the ones that make it better for like vehicles. I've seen that, but I haven't necessarily seen just a generic like, hey, like this will allow you to shoot through walls like better, period, attachment. Maybe there is. Once again, I'm not 100% sure, but look like we're gonna pull out this win here. Look at that, a little tight Tuesday win. It's almost like I only post the wins on the channel and not the L's. Man, I had a game, it was on Nuketown, I think, where I like capped out at like 67, 68 kills, probably the most I've had in a game. And we lost. We not only we lost, we got smoked. Like we weren't even like close. Like I capped B like twice, and that was it. Like nobody else even like attempted to go there. And I sat there and I was like, hey, do I post it on Tight Tuesday? Do I not post it on Tight Tuesday? I was like, you know, I got a good record of winning games on Tight Tuesday, except if you watch all those blackout videos where I lose all of them. And even begrudgingly, I still don't like posting those. But whatever. 65-22 though, not bad right there, huh? We put in some serious work over here, man. So those are my impressions over here, the MP5, and also this map over here on Crossroads. Hope you enjoyed it.